Hey everybody, this is Carla with Cobweb Corner and welcome to FlossTube number 97. It's a small miracle, but I am actually sitting down to film a FlossTube. It is Sunday, April 6th, and it's been, I think my last FlossTube was just after Christmas, so it's been quite a while. Once again, I don't have much to show you for stitching. I did, for the first time in many, many months, get my stitching out, and I have one thing to show you. We've been super busy. I just have so much going on, and I'm going to give you a retirement update and a whole bunch of stuff, talk about the travel journal and things like that. Let's just start in with the retirement update. If you watched FlossTube number 96, I talked about that in quite a bit, that I am actively working toward retiring, and I did not attend market this year. I am still getting more and more ready to completely retire. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever completely retire. I might still continue doing things on Facebook or stuff. I don't know. There's so much. But if you go to my website and you click on Cross Stitch View All, it'll show you the total number of charts that I have, individually titled charts that I have in stock. Not the total quantity, but the individual, how many unique titles I have. That used to be close to 8,000. And I am starting whittling down my titles, getting rid of old inventory and things that I'm no longer going to restock. And I think I've taken, I don't know, maybe 3,000 titles out since I started quite a few months ago. And most of that, some of that, I'm just culling, going through it by hand and pulling it out and saying this is unsellable, it's going to Goodwill. But a lot of the things, I'm having some really nice sales. So if you're not on the email list or you don't check in regularly, you might want to do that, because many of the things that I sell now, I will not be restocking as I work to reduce my inventory so that I can eventually sell what remains and close my store. So it's been parts of me. I wake up one day and I'm like, what would I do with my days if I didn't have this business? Because it's in my home. So I'm just used to waking up. My husband brings me coffee every morning. Yes, he really does, in bed. And I get dressed, I feed the cats, and I come down and work. I work downstairs in our basement. And I've been doing that for 22 years. So part of me is like, what am I going to do? What is my day going to look like once I actually retire? And do I want that to happen? And then I travel, or I do other things, or I look at my crafts that I have not worked on literally for months and months, and my sewing machine that I spent a whole bunch of money on, and I have all of this fabric behind me that I have not touched for a year. And I'm like, well, I definitely want to get back to that. But do I want to craft for 10 hours a day? So it's just this back and forth yo-yo thing of how is this going to work and what is my life going to look like? And I think I just need to do it and find out what my life is going to look like. So right now, I am really working hard just to reduce the titles and reduce my inventory to a more manageable level. One of the things that I've really been working hard on is we have a special group on Facebook called Cobweb Corner Auction Group, and we have events there, auctions where you bid, and events where I just have a quantity of things that have a price. And if you're one of the first ones to say, I would like that, then you get it at that price. And those have been amazingly successful and popular and fun. So I'll put the link to that down below. In my last video, I talked about that I can now be more open about running a business, the good, the bad, be more open about the bad. And I talked about Etsy, so running a cross stitch store on Etsy and what my thoughts were on that. You can go back and watch FlossTube number 96 if you want to see that. What I had to say about that. Basically, I said, no, that's not a great place to have a business where you are trying to have a personal relationship with your customers and maintain purchase loyalty and that type of thing. But I also asked about if anyone had any questions about opening in a store or running a store. And I really welcome those questions. So I did have one, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But let's go do a personal update and a stitching update. For the first time in months, I did get my stitching out, and I worked on Robin Pickens' Seasonal Couriers, Blackbird's Autumn. And all I have left, so I've finished this pumpkin, did all of this, and all of this down here. All I have left is to finish this row and fill in these little spots there. So I've got some more triangles to make, and just finish that row and finish that row, and I will be done. So hopefully the next time I talk to you guys, I can show you a finish, which those happen about once every 2 years. Just to show you how far behind I am on my floss tubes, I've had sitting on my desk since Christmas, this Christmas card that was sent to me by my girlfriend because it was my favorite card that I got. And it's still here, and it's April 6th. So that's pretty embarrassing, but I'm going to show it anyway because it's really cute. Look at this pop-up card with these kitties. It is so cute. And you can press, it says press, you'll see. You can pull this tag, and the kitty plays. And then there's lights. So did you see the lights come on? There. But this was just the best, cutest So Me card. So we're still talking about Christmas here in Cobweb Corner. What else is going on? I've talked in FlossTube number 96 again about how much time I'm having, how I'm trying to manage my time between being semi-retired, taking care of my parents, and running my shop. And one of the biggest things is that my husband and I are continuing to travel as much as we possibly can. And we made 2 big trips since my last video. The first one was we visited for the third time Mallorca. It's M-A-L-L-A, Mallorca, M-A-L-L-O-R-C-A. And it is a island off the coast of Spain. It's a Spanish island. And we've been there, like I said, this is our 3rd time. And every time we go, we have just a fabulous time. And this time I really researched hikes because it's a coastal island, but it also has mountains and some beautiful coastal villages. And we booked our hotel for 6 nights, and we got there, and the weather, we went in, I think the 2nd or 3rd week of February, and which is about the time we've gone the other 2 times, and that's their off season. They're just starting to reopen their hotels. Mallorca is an island with a population of 1 million people, but during high season, which starts pretty soon, they get the population on the island is 10 million. So we don't go. It's a huge beach resort, island, all kinds of things like that, and we do not like crowds or driving in those kind of conditions. So we go on off, every time we travel, we try to go on an off season when possible. And the weather when we go in February has always been just perfect. Us coming from Iowa, you know, we left, we were getting, the day after we left, they got like, I don't know, 9 inches of snow. It was below freezing all the time, high winds. And in Mallorca, it was in the like 60 to 65, which was perfect for hiking. So we enjoyed ourselves so much that the 3rd day in, I was like, man, I wonder what it would cost us to change our airline tickets and stay an extra 2 nights. And my husband just jokingly, like, it's gonna, you know, it's gonna cost, we both thought it would cost hundreds of dollars and wouldn't be enough. He goes, well, look and see what it is. We got $100 back. So our return flight ended up being $50 per ticket less. So we extended 2 nights. Of course, we had to pay for the hotel room, and I had to make sure that the girl watching the cats was able to do so. So we ended up staying 8 nights, and we're gone 9 nights total. And we just had, both of us said it was just one of our top 5 vacations ever. And then we just got back from Ireland. This was a trip that we had booked a long time ago with the couple, our friends who farm. And I've never been to Ireland before. My daughter went to school there for a semester in college, but we were unable to visit her at that time. And we flew into Cork, which is kind of in the southwest, kind of south center, but southwest part of Ireland. And we stayed in just this fabulous, fabulous hotel for 5 nights. We did a couple of hikes. We did whiskey distilleries, which I found out that if you're drinking good whiskey, it tastes a lot better than drinking bad whiskey. I'm not a whiskey person, but it was really fun. We did just a couple of tastings, and then we did a mixology. It wasn't really a class, but it was included in the tour. Mixology means making a cocktail and learning about different things. So that was a lot of fun. And we had some good Irish food, and we went to a couple speakeasies, which are underground kind of hidden bars to have cocktails at night, things like that. We just had a great time. We just got back from there on April 2nd. And so now I'm catching up on everything. In our future coming up, only 3 weeks away, we will probably be going to the farm, and my online shop will be closed while we're gone, because when I went to Ireland, I just put a notice that you can place your order, your payment will be charged, but no, you had to click a box that said, I understand my package will not ship until after April 4th. But you can still do that, but I don't like to do that when I'm not sure of my return date. So when we farm, we have no idea what the weather is going to do. We could be gone 10 days. We could be gone, I think last harvest, I was gone 30 days because of rain. And because I don't know when I'm going to return, I just close the online shop down. So you can browse, you can check your order history, but you can't buy anything. And then when I know when I'm going to be back, when I start to realize, yeah, we're winding down at the farm, then I'll reopen and give a notice that says I'll be shipping your order on such and such date. So I'm leaving for sure on April 28th, maybe April 27th, and I will be closed for probably up to a month. So if you want to get your orders in, I have a ton of new inventory to show you. If you want to get your orders in, get them in now. I'm also going to be closed April 13th through at least April 16th. And that is because my dad, who is 92 years old, he'll be 93 in July, is having surgery. It's a pretty major surgery. He has a very, very bad, extremely painful hernia. And they had hoped they wouldn't have to do surgery, but he's been suffering with it for 2 years, and finally he just can't handle it. So we're very concerned about that because of his age, and he's going to, unbelievably, unless they decide otherwise, unbelievably at age 92, it's going to be outpatient surgery, which I have an issue with. But I know that hospitals aren't always the safest place, but in this case, just one overnight would be nice to make sure everything goes all right. But we'll see, that may happen. But he's going to come home to my house and recover here for 2 to 4 days, whatever. Just depends on how he responds. So while he's here, I need to take care of him, and my mom will be here too. So I'm not going to have my store will actually be closed. It will not be taking orders until I know how he's going to recover and how he's going to do and if he can go back home. So thank you for your patience. That's just the way it's going to be. When I'm open, you're going to get the same great one-day shipping service and hopefully good customer service that you've had for the last 22 years. But It is gonna be different. Other things that happen that have just been insane is my husband has had severe hearing loss. He's 60. Let's see, I'm 63. He's 62. So he's had severe hearing loss in his left ear for quite some time, quite like a decade, and it's gotten progressively worse. And we always called it tractor ear. And tractor ear is farmers, before they had cabs, would always turn toward the back to look behind the tractor, and this ear would get a lot of noise and often damage that ear. So he had a hearing test, many years ago, and they're like, you have severe hearing loss in your left ear, and there's nothing we can do about it. A hearing aid won't help. But it got to the point where he's not really, it was just really noticeable. And so I convinced him to go back in and talk to the University of Iowa hospitals and see what they said. And they agreed that for some reason, the hearing in the ears wasn't the same. The right ear was kind of normal age-related hearing loss, but the left ear, something was wrong. So they needed to do an MRI and rule out tumors or something like that. And then from the MRI, and from the MRI, they would be able to tell whether he was a candidate for a cochlear ear implant. And so cochlear implants normally are done on people who are profoundly deaf, but they're starting to use them more and more for people with severe hearing loss and people whose hearing cannot be helped by a standard hearing aid. So it was a big decision for him. It's a pretty significant surgery. And long story short, he did it. He's still recovering. He has the implant. It had a big long scar all the way down his ear and up into about here. And they there's basically a magnet there. And then they go into your cochlea. They have to go through some of your ear bones and put a little thing that basically stimulates the nerve endings that send signals to your brain. And so he had the surgery, he had to recover 2 weeks, and then they put the outside part that sits on your ear like a much larger hearing aid, and then a processor that goes on the magnets, kind of like a needle minder. You have the under part and the top part. And they turned that on. They gave him that 2 days before we left for Ireland. And we were really concerned about all of that, about how his hearing would work and stuff. So he has a long ways to go. When you have a cochlear implant, it's not like a hearing aid. You hear differently, and you have to train your brain to recognize that the signal it's saying means something. So what that means is he does exercises where he listens, it goes into his left ear only, and he listens to maybe they'll say 4 similar words, like, I don't know, bread, head, things like that. Or maybe they have the first 2 letters are the same. So they'll say 4 words, and then he has a multiple choice, and he has to choose which word that he thinks was said. And there's other exercises similar to that. And right now he says he's at about a 75% accuracy rate, but there are certain consonants and certain combinations of letters and words that he still can't understand. But what that does is when he hears those sounds over and over and over and gets it right, he's training his brain to recognize that the signals being sent are this sound, and he'll never have normal hearing. It would be a kind of a mechanical type hearing. So that's been a big change for him, and it's a lot for him to go through. He hasn't actually gotten his hearing aid yet that will go on his right ear, so we have a lot to do with that, and he has to continue follow-up and all that. And in addition to that, I'm still taking care of my parents. I've been touring assisted living facilities. If you have elderly parents and have been through this, you can understand what all of this means, trying to basically convince them that it's time at 90, they'll be 91 and 93 in just a couple of months, and that it's time to get into a safer environment and be closer to us and stuff. So we toured one facility that I loved, but it took my mom, and rightfully so. It was a brand new, huge facility, 2 stories high, hundreds of people there, not hundred, yeah, probably hundreds. And when I took her, I could just see this overwhelming fear that it was way too much. So now we're touring a much more intimate facility, and I went and toured it first, and I'm taking her tomorrow to tour. So we'll see how that goes. And again, I'm rambling. That's 20 minutes of life update. But you know, when I don't talk to you guys for 3 months at a time, I have a lot to tell you. And yeah, so okay, let's do last FlossTube's giveaways. There were 3 giveaways, and I think there were 3. I only wrote down 3. Let's see. The first one was which one is it? Cold Hands, Warm Heart. This was donated by someone, so it's a pre-owned chart, and but it's in excellent condition. You had to use the word cold, and Crafty KJ won that. If you won this, my email is down below. Email me and put FlossTube winner in the subject line. Please put FlossTube winner in the subject line so you don't get deleted or missed. And then tell me your mailing address and tell me what you won, so I make sure that I send the correct thing to the right person. The next one was brand new chart by Emma, December's Christmas, and you can tell I was trying to do winter theme and that I'd get these right out. Now it's spring. You had to use the word December, and the winner is Ginny Anderson 8527. And the last one, also winter, you had to use the word welcome. This is Becky Boo's Winter Welcome. And 16 people were interested in that, and the winner is Rose Castro 720. So thanks everybody who participated in that. Let's see, looking at my notes here. Travel journal. So today's travel journal is super, super short. Again, FlossTube number 96, the journal was actually amazing. I did it at the very end of the FlossTube because it was 3 full pages long, and it took a long time to read. And I did a little research after that, but the journal, they are in California now, and they went to what appeared to be the World's Fair. So and she talked all about the fair in the journal and what different things they did. So we looked it up, and there were actually 2 huge fairs going on at the same time. I think my husband said one was in New York and the other one was in San Francisco. And it was really interesting. We read about how they took this island and built it up and got it ready for the fair, and what they thought it would be used for, and then what it's actually used for. So if you look up the fair from 1939 and read about it, it's really interesting. But one of the things we did check on was at the end of her journal, she always puts her expenses, and one of the things was monkey races, 15 cents. And so my husband actually looked that up for me and found out that did indeed have monkeys in little cars who raced. And my great aunt and uncle did attend those monkey races. So I thought that was really, really, really funny. So we are at September 10th, 1939. If you're just joining me, this is her journal. It's typed up. We've had discussions on whether she had her typewriter with her or wrote her journal and then typed it later. But we started on August 25th, 1939, and it's now September 10th, 1939. And if you want to go back many, many FlossTubes and take the journey, I have got so many comments about how people enjoy it. This one is just 3 short paragraphs, and it's mostly just about family. It's not going to be super interesting, but I'll read it real quick so that we just stay right with the journal. This is Richmond, California, September 10th, 1939, a Sunday. For those of you who are new, this is my great aunt, my great uncle, and my great grandmother. Great grandmother? Great grandmother. Yes. So this is what she says. We had a good opportunity to rest this morning, so we took it. I did a little washing this morning. Hannah and Marie went over to Anna's early so that Anna and Marie could go to church. Hannah got dinner and took care of Boyd while Anna was gone. Boyd is the baby. Mother spent part of the morning over to Uncle John's cabin while he took the girls to Anna's in church. He came home and got us. This was such a pleasant day. Had a lovely dinner and so enjoyed the garden and pretty flowers. We took quite a lot of pictures. We met Kenneth, Anna's husband, but Boyd was the center of attraction all the time. Marie, Uncle John, Aunt Mert came to our cabin for lunch this evening. We plan to leave in the morning, so this is our last real get-together before we leave. Anna and Hannah are together as Nana stayed there. And that's it. So just getting ready to leave California and start their journey back home. Expenses, film, 2 rolls of film, 67 cents. Groceries, 47 cents, and the cabin for 3 nights was $6 for a total of $7.14. Says Uncle John took us about in his car, so it was another day of rest from driving for us both. So that is it. We've still got their return trip back. Okay. I talked a little bit about retirement update, and I said I had some questions from people about running a shop. Again, I discussed my thoughts on opening a shop on Etsy, like a full cross stitch shop on Etsy. My views are against that, but there are times when you might want to consider that, and that is in, guess what, FlossTube number 96. And after that, I said, does anybody have questions? And one person said, I do have a question. I want to know how much inventory I should have. And that is, since I have way too much, it's a kind of a hard one to ask, but I will comment that there are different ways to view your inventory depending upon what type of store you have. For example, if you are a small town shop, brick and mortar shop that has mostly the same customers and doesn't, like, let's say you're not in a tourist town or you just don't have a huge changing customer base, then your inventory needs to be changing quickly because you don't want to have the same things over and over and over, because your regular customers want to see new things every time they come into your shop. So you might not continue to have the entire line of Plum Street samplers or, whatever. And you may really focus on having 1 or 2 of the newest items from the most popular designers. You will get to know your customers, which is another reason to be connected. Are my customers sampler people? Are my customers younger? Do they like the more edgy and modern types of things? Do my customers like to do smalls? Do they prefer to have things kitted up? Things like that. You'll get to know that. But now let's say that you're a brick and mortar or an online shop, but as a brick and mortar shop, you're in a tourist town, and many of your customers will come in once, and that's it. They may not be back again. They're just coming in and shopping as part of the visiting your town. Then you might want to keep a completely different type of inventory. You may continually restock items that are very, very popular. And you may want to have a more full line of certain designers or things like that. It's just something that after a while you get used to. There, as an online shop, you have the world to possibly visit your store, but then you also have your very loyal customers. So it's a hard mix, and it's one that I don't think I handled very well. In retrospect, at first I thought I had to have everything by everything. I thought I had to have everything, and everything by every designer. A full line, and constantly keeping that full line up. The last, sorry, I'm doing because I'm thinking in my head, the last probably 4 years, I've really started to use the historical information that I have to decide whether to restock an item or not. But as far as how much, that's going to depend on whether you're an online shop. Online shop, you can have tens of thousands of items. In a brick and mortar shop, you're going to be restricted by the size of your shop. But there's something that I call shopping fatigue. In an online store, I call it scrolling fatigue. So I have had over 10,000 items in my shop over the years. And what I started to realize, not until again the last four years or so, is people will get overwhelmed scrolling page after page after page. So they may be like, wow, Cobweb Corner has everything. But then they'll come in and they'll scroll and it just gets to be so overwhelming, they just leave. So unless they're coming to look for something particular, you may lose that opportunity to sell because you just have so much, or maybe it's not organized well. Same thing, we've all gone into a store, not necessarily a cross stitch store, but I know I've been in a few quilt shops and a couple cross stitch stores and department stores where there is so much and it's just packed that you can hardly get through the aisles, and things are just shoved into bins and not, you know, you have to go through everything one at a time, as opposed to a store that's laid out with a lot of room, has multiple things on display that you don't have to dig deep in to find, has models. That's, I call this the first type of store where I get shopping fatigue, where I go in and it's so kind of packed with options that I get overwhelmed, and I may shop and I just like, I don't even know what I want. So I don't buy anything. So there's just different things to think about. As far as the number of titles, this is another mistake that I made. There's just a lot that you learn over the years. Like last year I went, not this March, but the year before, I went to market, and one of the biggest, hugest sellers was Frosty Tiny Town by Heart and Hand. And I had something like 45 pre-orders for it. So I thought, this is going to be huge. And I bought 12 additional charts because I already pre-ordered and sold 45. I had those charts for a long time. They sold, but it wasn't the, oh, I'm just going to get rid of those right away. And so it was extra money that I spent at market that I could have saved to buy something different, or just reorder, you know, get a couple. I also have been on auto shipments. And what an auto shipment is you can do it with a wholesale distributor, but you can also do it with an individual designer. And it's where you sign up and say, I want this many of every new chart you come out with, every time you come out with new charts. And I got in the habit of saying, I'll take 6. I'll take 6 of everything. Well, there's always, sometimes that was good, but there were always in that set of charts, one that didn't sell so well. And I have some where I ordered 6 years ago and I still have 6. They didn't sell at all. So you start to realize that maybe having not so many copies of the same thing is better than having 6 or 10 copies of the same thing that you might not get rid of. So the long story short there is, it just depends. And as you build your business, I would start with the things you like. Try to understand your customer base. Are they going to, my customer base is absolutely 100% 55 and above, mostly 65 and above. And if your customer base or your town or the area you're going to sell in, or the items that you like or think are going to be popular, you may go to a much younger customer base and have a completely different set of things. And you'll figure that out as you go. So lots of mistakes I made that if I had it to do over again, I would do completely differently. But, you know, you learn as you go. So if you have other questions on just running a shop, how much does postage cost?
So,
I can
yep,
go questions like that. Feel free to ask, and I'll try to address those in future videos. But running a cross stitch shop is fun. It's awesome, but don't do it just because you like to stitch. You have no time to stitch if you open up your own cross stitch shop. Okay, so let's do new giveaways. Okay, new giveaways. Got a couple, 3 things here, or 4 things actually. 2 by It's So Emma. The first one is Be in My Bonnet Stitch Card Set I. Use the word cards, C-A-R-D-S. So if you want to try to win one of the giveaways, comment below with the word I tell you to use. You must be 18 for me to legally ask for your name and address. And don't use the word giveaway. So cards. And then the other one is Summertime by It's So Emma. Use the word summer, S-U-M-M-E-R. And the next one is a cross stitch and bead weaving magazine. It's brand new. This is published in Australia. I believe all of these can be done in cross stitch and beading. And this is issue 86. So it's brand new. Just use the word magazine, M-A-G-A-Z-I-N-E. And the last one is this adorable wooden walrus needle minder, and use the word walrus. So I will give those, it'll probably be July or August, but we will call the names for those in the next FlossTube number 98. If we're lucky, guys, if we're really lucky, we'll all live to see me make 100 floss tubes. So we'll see how that goes. All right, I have a bunch of new inventory, and it has been accumulating for 3 months. New inventory, when I show it here, means it's never been in my store before. It doesn't mean it's a new release. And some of the items are quite old, because another thing that happened since my last video was I hired a young woman, daughter of a friend of mine, and she did all of my charts, thousands and thousands, and she did it all in a week. She came in at about 10 every morning and stayed till maybe 4 in the afternoon, and all she did was count charts and compare them to what my inventory said, and to see whether I had what I say I have online is what I actually have in my drawer. And she found a lot of mistakes. Most of them were things that were in my drawer but never got listed on my website. How that happens, I don't know. So some of these are quite old, but it's because my helper found them and gave them to me. Hang on, I gotta get a box. All right, so, okay. Let's start with some that are brand new. And I'm going to grab these out of the box, and we will go through these quickly. There are some great, there's also some in here. I tried to get some new designers. So I don't know how much new inventory I'll be adding. It's really hard when I go in. There's certain things I always want to restock, and I'm not ready to not stock yet, even though I am working toward closing. Sorry, I can't get these out of the box. But it's really hard to go like onto Hoffman or Witchell's or Yarn Tree's website and not add 25 brand new charts to my cart. So, especially when market just happened. So I'm having a dilemma here on, yes, I want to retire, but no, I don't want to stop buying new charts. So it's hard, guys. I mean, it's like really, every time I keep telling my husband, yes, I'm going to retire. And then this big box of cross stitch charts shows up at our door, and he's like, what's this? So nothing. So, just something I ordered. So anyway, what's new? Birdie Bowl by Blue Flower. And also by Blue Flower, I only have one of these left, is Seasons of the Heart, Heart of the Mountains. Chubby You. This Chubby series by Jeanette Douglas is adorable, and they are so tiny. They use a few colors, but they're really small. So there's Chubby Bee, Chubby Fox, Chubby Squirrel, Chubby You, and Chubby Bunny, I think, are the ones that are done. And then Stacy Nash continued her Animal Cracker series, and we have Goose, the giraffe, and You Stitch the Hat also. And where's some other? I had some others. Here's Rufus, the circus bear. And I think there's some more in here too. I'm going to throw these in here. Brand new by, I think it's brand new. It was, I think this was a market release. Home is Where We Start by Shepherd's Bush. The 2025 Santa. Ooh, sorry. Says, oh, what fun it is. Santa throwing snowballs. New by Robin Pickens. Autumn Blackbirds, the Courier Duos. So if you look at this, I don't know what I think about this actually. So this is Seasonal Couriers, Blackbirds Autumn. This is Autumn Blackbirds Courier Duos. And you'll notice that this part is exactly the same as this part, as this chart. So it's basically a much larger version of this one. So here, put them up side by side. I don't know. At first I was like, I didn't like it. I didn't like that mine didn't have everything. But I really like the additions that she's added to this to make it more rectangular, and I don't know. Let me know what you think about that. Brand new booklet by Blackbird Designs. 3 projects based on an antique Welsh sampler. And it is called The Sweet Birds Sing. Birds, plural. There's the, I've said this many times, but the books put out by Blackbird Designs are exceptional. They're, I think, collectibles. They're things that that I wouldn't want to have on a PDF file. I would want to have the actual book. Our Savior, this is a designer I never had in the past. I've had just a few things over the last year, and I've been picking up more of her designs. This is Samplers and Primitives. This is Our Savior Quaker. Autumn Quaker. I really like this one. I don't know why. I mean, they're standard autumn colors, but they just look so delicate. I think it's because this side is darker. I don't know. I don't know why. I really like that one. The Bee Quaker. The Bee Quaker 2. The Bunny Quaker. And that's a repeat. And then by Blue Flower, we have Baby Animals. This is a market release. It's another thing to remember when you're deciding how many dollars to put into your market pre-orders is there every shop. Like I didn't attend market, so I had to wait until the charts were released to the distributors. So anybody who any shop that attends market gets kind of a 30-day jump start on market releases. And a lot of stitchers will spend hundreds of dollars because they feel like they kind of, I gotta buy it. I gotta buy it right now because it's a market release. But if you wait 3 or 4 weeks, every shop's gonna have those. And you can spread your spending out a little bit. If you really see something at market that you love and you want to start stitching it early, put your pre-order in. Get it in, or maybe somebody's going to do a stitch along on it and you need to have it right away. But that temptation to, that FOMO, you don't want to fear of missing out. Just keep that in mind that the things you see that are released at market are going to be available from shops that didn't go to market, and they're going to be available from your local shop. You know, just tell your any shop that you shop with that, hey, I saw this as a market release. Are you going to have it in stock, or can you order for me? And then you can spread your spending out to more fit with your stitching pace. Like we all do that. A new Robin Pickens. This is Super Bloom Bouquet. New by Shepherd's Bush is Olaf's Stocking. And I do have the charm pack that goes with that. Another one from Blackbird Designs, Gifts of the Season. And this says 4 projects is inspired by an English sampler. Let's see if I can see the other projects that are in here. Oh, it all seems to be, there we go. This one, so they're all kind of based on, there's the original. And again, really nice booklet. And by Jeanette Douglas, Floral Alphabet. There's a new Floral Alphabet series. This is ABC. I don't think I looked at, I think she released ABC, D, E, F. And this one I just really liked. I thought, not everybody's going to want to stitch the entire alphabet, but ABC is kind of a standard. There's a lot of samplers with just the letters ABC 1, 2, 3. So I thought this first one in particular would appeal to more people. So I got that. Okay, now for the big box. One of them that we found during the inventory, Believe in Love by Heart and Hand. Monthly Mini Village, February Mini Village. 2021 Santa. I don't know why I have this in new releases. I think it was sold out. I really don't know. I don't know if I ever had 2021 in, but either it was sold out and I couldn't get it for a long time, but 2021 wasn't included. And you know, now they have the new Prairie Schooler Santa's Revisited, but I like this one because of the white owl. More from the Animal Cracker Silly, Lily the Frog, with that little sampler thing there. And the sampler goes around a little drum. So Lily the Frog. And this is from the British Animal Cracker series, and this is Harriet. And this one right here is actually a needle keep or pin keep. Isn't that adorable? And then look how they have the scissors on the back. You obviously wouldn't have to do that part. Another one, Millie the Circus Elephant from the Animal Cracker series. Belle of the Ball by Hands On Design. Winter Quilt Barn by Pansy Patch Quilts. Here's the Chubby Bunny by Jeanette Douglas. Harvest Moon, I really like this one. Look at the silhouette, the cat silhouettes on the pumpkins. Really like that. And this is by Annie Bees. Frostbite by Artist Design. I think that was a release last year. Tudor House special edition. So basically number 13 in the Fabulous House series, Tudor Style House. So those are in stock, but we're just getting started here. So for people who think I'm not adding new things, I got a lot of stuff added in the last couple of months. It's not coming out very regularly. Christmas Etchings by Heart and Hand. Love this. Love this, love this, love this. Luhu Stitches, Flower Burst Flings, a bouquet of coloring stitches. You get all 4 of those. And look at those bright colors. Aren't those fun? Samplers and Primitives, the Liberty Quaker. Yeah, my things are upside down. Let me get these turned around. All right, brand new by, I've had this for a while, but I didn't put it into inventory until I got the bead packs to go with. But this is brand new by Mirabilia, brand new a couple months ago. Mary Mary. Isn't she amazing? I can't believe the chart. Nora Corbett puts out. And then this is the bead pack that goes along that you can purchase separately. New designer to me, Flossabilities, and this is Cabin in the Woods. I only have one of these left. Isn't that amazing? Look at those trees. Then some more unique designs. The Stitch Crypt, Cozy Reading Cottage bookmark. Morbid Curiosities. From Calico Confectionery, I'd Be Lost Without Needle and Floss. Spring, Hello Spring by Calico Confectionaries. Oops. Summer House Stitch Works, Grandma's Flower Garden. Shannon Christine, Sugar Plum Village. Come On In by Kathy Barrick. This is not a new release, but new to Cobweb Corner. Well, I already said that. I'm repeating myself. Dachshund Through the Snow by Dirty Annie's. The Ring Mistress. This one's kind of cool. I kind of like this one. By Dirty Annie's. The Moth and the Mushroom by Little Dove. I really like this one. Look at those mushrooms in that circle. Really, really like that one. Birds of a Feather Bird Sampler. One of those left. Another Mirabilia. This is September Sapphire Fairy. This is not a newer chart, not a new release. And here's the bead pack that goes with that you can buy if you want. Okay, Blue Flower Holiday Card 2024. Sorry, I'm getting a glare there. There we go. Sampler Berry by Erica Michaels. Slightly Spooky by Little Robin. I really like those. They look like quick stitches. Christmas on the Square includes a little tiny button. This is by Scissor Tail Designs. Winter Folk from the Folk series by Hands On Design. Snow You by Proper Stitcher. Where Love Resides by Lila Studio. And it says, Home is where love resides. Haunted House number 11 in the Fabulous House series. Mystical Moth by Pedal Pusher. Topiary Row by October House Fiberworks. Is that right? Fiber Arts. I knew as soon as I said Fiber Works, that wasn't right. Happy Life Set Christmas number 1 by Jeanette Douglas. Trim the Tree by Jeanette Douglas. I like this, but I don't know if we have. Let me try to find that. Hang on. Hang on. I was trying to find that Christmas one by Heart and Hand to show you the similarities. I'm going to leave this one out. Happy Life Christmas Set number 2 by Jeanette Douglas. This is by Quaint Rose Needle Arts, and I really like this. It's Quaint Quakers number 3 Fall. Isn't that beautiful? Erica Michaels Autumn Musings. Peace on Earth by Pansy Patch and, oh my goodness, Pansy Patch Quilts and Stitchery. Did that one. Oh, this is, yeah, did that one and did that one. Those are duplicates. Dirty Annie's Pumpkin Patch. I think this one is adorable. It's a lot of different colors, but, well, actually, it's this many colors. So I just think that's cute. I really like that one. Christmas City by Barbara Anna Designs. Look at the tree. Can you see the tree how tall, and it's blue and orange. So unique. It has a gold star on the top. Really, really unique. Jan Hicks, a really good day. Today is going to be a really good day. Speaking of Jan Hicks, so Jan Hicks from Jan Hicks Creates has officially moved to France. If you didn't know that, I'm sure you guys all know. But she and her husband are opening up a cross stitch shop in Jocelyn, France. I am so incredibly jealous. I lived in France for 22 months, around 2014 to basically from 2014 to Christmas of 2016, and or the Christmas before 2016. And I cannot wait to go see her. She is in there. I think tomorrow they get the keys. They close on their house, and she already has the keys to the building for her, what will be her cross stitch shop. And I am so already, I asked her, is tomorrow too soon for me to come visit? She said, yeah, it might be. And I said, well, how about June? And she said, June will work. So I am thinking that we might have to have a dual, her and I do a FlossTube together in France. So I am so incredibly happy for her. Modern Beach House by Robin Pickens. When I saw these online, I wasn't sure I was going to like this series, the beach series, but I actually really do. And here's another one by Robin Pickens, Shoreline Sampler. Ones that we found during inventory, March Red-Breasted Nuthatch by Stony Creek. Cupid by Nora Corbett from the Christmas Courier series. And if you watched, I just released a video a couple days ago, a restock video, and in there I talked about how they are going more and more with this leaflet format for Nora Corbett designs rather than the standard envelope format that we're used to. So if you see, like, let's say you have 2 or 3 already in this series and you buy one and you get one in this format and it's not the envelope format that you're used to, that's what they're releasing now, is those. One we found during inventory is A Season of Wonder by Stony Creek. Cherry Hill Stitchery, Miss Hollybird. Found during inventory, the letter Q from Letters from Nora. This is an older design that was released only through Hoffman. Dirty Annie's Marriage. And it says Marriage When Dating Goes Too Far. Found during inventory, Chinese God of Wealth by Pin, P-I-N-N. Pin no longer puts out charts, so, but it's brand new. Hokluk Stew by Pin. That's a challenge there. Then these are by the Elfin Forest, and there's a whole series of these. This one is Vintage Witch, super quick stitch, and this one is Raven Witch. And they are only, this one's 21 by 56, and the Witch is 32 by 54. So those are fun, quick Halloween stitches. Humbug by from Liz Matthews. We're not done yet. This is why I need to have floss tubes a lot more frequently. The Omens by Cherry Hill Stitchery. Ornament Series Parts 5 through 8 by Tiny Modernist. Look at this squirrel. I love that. I love this kind of the use of negative space where you leave empty space. Change is beautiful. It says fall is proof that change is beautiful by Erin Elizabeth Designs. I have one of those left. Robin Redbreast by Little Dove. That one. Luna by Cherry Hill. Aren't those colors beautiful? Wild Heart by Barbara Anna Designs. Underwater City by Barbara Anna Designs. Happy New Year, a little late for that, but next year. This is by Calico Confectionery. Hello Autumn by Erin Elizabeth Designs. Oh Christmas Tree by Calico Confectionery. I love this. This would be a bear to stitch, but isn't that just, aren't those bright colors just wonderful? Let me see if you, and yes, you stitch the little gold symbols that you see there too. I love that. Needles Notion Midnight Magic. This is from the doll series by the Needles Notion. I love this. There's 5 or 6 of these stand-up dolls that you can stitch. This is one of my favorites. She's got the cauldron, the cat. She's holding a wand and holding a potion book. If anybody ever stitches one of these stand-up dolls by the Needles Notion, I would love to see a picture of it finished. All right, getting down there. Woodland Critters by Tier by Erin Elizabeth Designs. And then these are from Lola Crow. I love this chart. It's painted pumpkins. And then the Witch Sampler by Twin Peak Primitives. These are Lola Crow, Hall of Haunted Mirrors. Happy Haunting. Calico Confectionery, Dash Away All. It's the names of the reindeer. And then this is a new designer to me, and I really like them. It's Haunted Frames, and this is Little Witchy Library. So it's like one of those little libraries you might find outside somebody's house. And then Haunted Frames has a whole series of these book designs where it's open to a page in a book. This one is Book of Fabled Fungi, the mushroom. And Book of Foxtails. Book of Frost Dragons. Book of Lost Keys. Book of Psychic Readings. It's got a crystal ball and tea leaves. And Book of Scaredy Cats. And that's it, guys. So that is a lot of new inventory. I hope you saw something that you liked there. Sorry this took so long. I very rarely go over an hour. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up and check my page. If you scroll all the way to the bottom of the page on my website, there's a little thing at the footnote that says taking a break. And in there, it will show all the times that we're going to be away and where there might be delays in shipping or the shop is going to be closed as I work toward retirement. So great. We will talk to you on FlossTube number 97 or 98. Happy stitching, everybody. Bye-bye.